So, yeah, somebody requested that I should record it. So it's okay to record. Yeah, that's fine. So, mind is what? Mind is like a river. It's like a flowing thoughts, just like a river is a flowing water. If you want to see what the underneath that water is, the water has to be clean. And water has to be still also. Even if it's moving, it should move with certain consistency so that we can see what's underneath. So the same thing we do with the mind. We clean it and we bring it in our control. Okay. So now where we are in this scripture, verse number 40. Because after having a full control of our mind, what does a practitioner achieve? He says, Parmanu, Param Mahatva Antah Asya Vashikara. So this is the verse. Parmanu means, Param means the absolute, the highest. Anu is, it's like a particle. Okay, we can call it an atom or even a subatom, something which is very small. Because science keeps on finding smaller and smaller particles. So rishis, they just called it a anu, small particle. So Parmanu means the smallest particle imaginable. That is a Parmanu. Param Mahatva Ant, again Param means the highest, Mahatva, the essence of being big, like a grand, that is a Mahatva. And Anta means the end, final stage. So together when we look at this Param, Mahatva Ant means the biggest entity, the highest expansiveness, or you can say the sum total of Prakriti. Okay, so Param Mahatva Ant. It cannot get any bigger than that. Asya means it's like a possessive of a pronoun. Asya. It refers to one who has attained the stability. That means that practitioner. Or you can say with the help of that absolute concentration of the mind. Vashikara, a particular state of samadhi described in the Sutra 15 of this chapter also. So that is a state of mind that is fully controlled. A mind which is free from all forms of attachments, including the attachment to the celestial players. That means the heavenly abodes. So this particular verse together, it means thereafter, a yogi's mastery stretches from the smallest atom to the biggest objects. So that means that a calm and clear mind, inward flowing mind, has reached this infinite capacity. Mastery over both the outer and the inner worlds. That mind which can roam or conquer the outer and at the same time the inner world also. So in this verse, Rishi Patanjali is describing the abilities of a yogi who has gained perfect mastery over his or her mind. Because we have seen in earlier verses, he said that a confused mind is not fit to follow any path. A confused mind cannot be truly productive either in the external world or in the internal world. And we are all familiar with that kind of a mind. And that is why it's very important that a person on the path of personal transformation and self-discovery acquire a clear, calm, and tranquil mind. That is the essence of yoga sadhana, actually. Somebody might ask, why do we do the asanas then? The asanas and the shatkarams we do, pranayam we do, so that our body doesn't become an obstacle. Because we do live in this body. The practice got to be done with the help of this physical body. So it's our duty to take care of it. So it is only with such a tranquil mind we can assess the real cause of any disturbance. Because fundamental causes of the disturbances in both the inner and the outer world, we need to understand. Because those are the obstacles. Rishi Patanjali also been explaining to us that inner restlessness and the practice of concentration do not go together. So that means a restless mind cannot practice. Whatever the reason, the mind has become restless. Okay, there's no justification for that. It is through twofold method we attain the goal. Systematic practice, which is called abhyas, and vairagya, which is called dispassion. These are the two terms he has been using so that we can attain freedom from inner restlessness and acquire a clear, calm, and tranquil mind. Because this is the kind of a mind which is fit to practice yoga. Okay? We have already learned in the beginning of this scripture the mental modifications, vrittis, how to become a master of this mind. Once this mind is with you, once it has become calm and tranquil, once it has acquired the ability to stay focused on an object for a prolonged period of time, you have become a master of yourself. Okay? We want to become the master of the outer world. But first try to become a master of your mind. Because we are part of the outer world, but first gain control over your mind. And in this sutra, Rishi Patanjali is telling us that how far this mastery can stretch. So the mind which can comprehend something in front of you, it can comprehend something the smallest also. That's how the yogis, without dissecting this human body, they knew the whole nervous system, the glands also, all the organs also. Even the modern science cannot find the nerve channels right now, where the prana flows. But the yogis, because they could go with the help of their mind so deep, see something which is so subtle. See, the prana shakti is so subtle. Yogis, they even gave us the points where the different forms of God reside in our body. So this is this power. But at the same time, they say it can stretch towards the end of the universe or beyond. That's how they could really tell exactly how far the sun is or how many suns are there. in the universe, the multi-universes. Or how much bigger the sun is than the earth. And who is going around who? So they could stretch to the farthest and at the same time to the smallest. This is what Rishi Patanjali is telling us. Such a yogi has the ability to penetrate the smallest of the small particle. Because this yogi's mind has become so subtle, so condensed, so compressed. So that's why it can penetrate even a Parmanu. See, Param Anu, that is a Parmanu, the smallest entity imaginable. In other words, such a yogi is able to perceive that which is imperceptible. See, ordinary mind cannot perceive it. But this yogi can perceive it so clear, can penetrate the mysteries which are it's almost like impossible for an ordinary person or an ordinary mind. You can imagine the mental stability of such a person. That something is moving, something is far away, something could be very small or something could be so big. But this yogi knows it. Such a yogi can focus the mind on the immense objects, like a mountain ranges also, the stars also. So he's able to stretch the size of his mind to accommodate the biggest entity in the universe. And this is all due to the expanded field of the mind. See, like we just keep our mind very narrow. That's why it's called narrow-mindedness. Even in the ordinary day-to-day life, we don't like our mind to be narrow-minded. We want the mind to be expanded. But over here, Rishi Patanjali is going to the other level. That with that kind of a big mind, we can see the cause and effect of everything. Because such a yogi has the capacity to comprehend the subtle causes of even the most complex issues. Furthermore, such a yogi is able to go back and forth. So that means between two extremes, from the subtlest to the grossest, and from the smallest to the biggest. This yogi is able to stay focused on one extreme, but can also instantly reach the other extreme without any hindrance. That is the total conquering of the mind. So that means ability to switch the focus between the objects which are totally contrary to each other. They could be in the shape or the size or the nature. That is called a masterful yogi. Because that yogi is capable of focusing on that which is steady as well as which is constantly moving, because this is the level of mastery this yogi has attained. Okay, so these are not just the words. These are the accomplishments through the practice of yoga we all can master. But remember the conditions, abhyas and vairagya. Okay, so because sometimes we like the results, but we got to see that what it takes to reach to that result. Let's look at this word vashikar. I told you to go back into the previous verses where vashikar word is. It was explained in verse number 15 of this chapter. Vashikar is a state of non-attachment in which we are no longer affected either by the worldly charms and temptations or the heavenly temptations. So then we got to look at our own mind. Do we have that kind of a mind? Have we cultivated this kind of a abhyas and vairagya? So with the help of the abhyas, we can reach to this level of vairagya, where we are free from the desires and feel completely content. Are we santoshi? Or constantly our mind is just churning towards the next thing, next object, next experience? Or are we content where we are? Because even the subtle causes of the roaming tendencies of our mind, we need to make it inert. With the practice of meditation, this mind which gets bound to this prakriti, with the help of that practice of meditation, we free our mind from those temptations. So abhyas. Yogi who is established in this vashikar are known as videha and prakriti laya. These are the two stages of lower stages of moksha. Because we are familiar with the Brahmalin. Brahmalin means the Atma becomes one with the Brahma. That is a total merging. But before that, these are two layers, Videha and Prakriti Laya. But in order to become Videhi, Vashikar is needed. Because once we reach this level of realization, we have the privilege of being born as an extraordinary yogis. These are those yogis, even from birth, we see some kind of a miracles happening. Okay, so Videhi or Prakriti Lay. Because this was the concept we learned in Sutra number 19. So these yogis, they are born with an exceptional degree of spiritual wisdom and the innate desire to discover the inner dimensions of life. So whatever practice we do right now, it will go with us. The same way he's saying that these yogis, they were born. When they were born, they have these extraordinary powers. They don't display, they don't talk about it, but here and there, people feel it. Okay, so these three layers of liberation, Videha, Prakriti Laya, that is higher than that, and then Brahmalin. And why this practice of meditation is capable of elevating us to such a high degree of self-mastery, that is the subject of the next sutra, sutra number 41. Because pretty soon in this section, he's going to talk about the samadhis also. So very important to understand what he is telling us in these verses. Kashin vrite abhi jatasya iv ganehe grihitri grahan grahyeshu tat stha tad anjanataha samapati. This is a little longer verse. So let's look at the words. Kashin vrite. Kashin means extinct, destroyed. That is kashin. Vriti is the modifications of our mind. Mind that is no longer affected by its own modifications. That's what this kashin vriti is. It's almost like a chit vriti nirodha. So over here, kashin vriti. Okay, a clear, calm, tranquil mind. That's another way we can understand this. Abhijatasya. Abhijatasya means abhijat in the Indian mythology refers to a special gem that fulfills all wishes. See, just like a kamdhenu, a cow, wish fulfilling cow, abhijat is a gem. So that means that a gem has the capacity to produce anything that the wearer of the gem wishes. Abhijatasya. Iv means like, mane means jewel, grihitri grahan graheshu. Grihitri means recipient. Grahan means the process of receiving or perceiving, you can call in this context. And grahya means the perceivable or receivable. So together this word, complex word, compound word, grihitri, grahan graheshu, that means the object of meditation, the process of meditation, and the pure transcendental consciousness that witnesses all internal states or functions. And the next big word is tat satha tad anjanataha. Tat means that, satha means based upon, and again tad means that, anjantaha means the quality of having a color or characteristics. And the last word is samapati. Samapati means the end result or the conclusion. So this whole big verse, how do you translate that? He says, a tranquil mind is like a crystal. It assumes the color of whatever is in its proximity. Okay, clear crystal. Whatever you put close to it, it will take its color. It seems like that it's taking that color. Be it an object of concentration, the process of concentration, or the pure consciousness it witnesses. So that means it takes the color of whatever is in front of it. So it witnesses the inner functioning of the mind. So in this sutra, Rishi Patanjali is making two important points. First one is that mind is like a wish-yielding gem. Abhijatasya. That is that kind of a gem this mind is. That's why they say, rishis say, that with this mind, you can reach the heavenly abodes, or even beyond that, nirvana also. But then you can go down also. Manaiva manushyanam karnam bandh moksha. Through this mind, we can get bondaged or we can get free. So that's what he's saying over here. The mind is like a wish-yielding gem. And the second point he's making over here, that mind is ability to assume the color of anything in its proximity. It just absorbs it. Okay? So that's why if we go into a very sattvic place, mind feels those vibrations. The same mind, we take it to a very tamasic place, you'll feel that agitations also. All that is through the mind. That's how powerful this mind is. So the first point indicates that mind is a field of a limitless creative energy. So that means it has the capacity to create, maintain, and demolish anything it wishes. Mind is both the creator of both its misery and its happiness. Same situation, one person is feeling happy, the other person is feeling miserable. A person who loves to smoke, the smell of smoke, that person is enjoying, or it relaxes him. But other person cannot even stand it. So mind is the creator of both its misery and its happiness. It has the capacity both to guide and also to misguide. It has the capacity to bless and even curse. When we watch those episodes from Hindu scriptures, the rishi taking the water can bless, can take the same water, but a different kind of a mind can curse also. Mind has the power. But as described in the previous sutra, once the mind is clear, calm, and tranquil, has gained the ability to focus on both the subtlest and the grossest, the minutest and the biggest. It has no taste for anything negative, destructive, or painful. Okay? So that is the kind of a mind we want as a yogi. Not a negative mind, but a positive mind. And the second point in this verse indicates that, like a crystal, a clear, calm, and tranquil mind assumes the color of whatever lies in its closest proximity. Because it has lost its taste for that which is negative, destructive, painful, it naturally discovers that which is positive, constructive, and joyful. It's drawn towards that. Just like a butterfly or a bee will automatically go on the flowers, will not go at the filth. Because those creatures, they are attracted to the beauty and the sweetness. On the other hand, a housefly will go on the filth. You will rarely see a housefly sitting on a flower. We got to create that kind of a mind. Because such a mind propelled by the law, similar attracts similar, is drawn towards that which is good and auspicious. The result is that this crystal clear mind finds itself on the path of transformation effortlessly. Because this mind is the tool which has been given to us by the nature to use to transform ourselves. Because a yogi with such a mind finds this world beautiful, peaceful, joyful. Nothing is distasteful. Everything is good and auspicious. The idea of discomfort has vanished from a yogi's life. That's why yogis can do the tap for years and years. They can do that abhyas. Stay hungry and thirsty, whether it's cold or hot. They have really risen above the dualities because they only look at the beauty. And what is the most beautiful? The Paramatma. And this yogi is content. No agitation in the mind. No more worldly desires. So the yogi with a clear crystal mind lives in the world and yet remains unaffected. Fully aware of the thought process, but does not identify with those thoughts. We got to see that how easily we identify with the thought processes. Can we detach ourselves? Can we be the observer? Not get muddied in the thought process? A yogi is fully aware of the goals and the objectives. But these goals and objectives do not taint the mind. Yogi enjoys every bit of this world. And once the enjoyment is over, no trace of the past lingers in the mind. See, ordinary mind keeps on thinking about the past and keeps on worrying about the future. But yogi's mind is different. Yogi's mind is free of the memories of the past and has no reason to be anxious about the future. This is the kind of a person who is called liberated here and now. So in this verse, verse number 41, he is giving us a glimpse of a mind of a yogi. And that means our mind also. Is our mind crystal clear? Is our mind content at any given time, or is it full of desires, fear, anxiety? We got to watch this because whole sadhana is with the help of the mind. So a mind free from the roaming tendencies is like a crystal, he says. It takes the form of whatever object is in its proximity, whether the object is the perceiver, the process of perceiving, or the object of perception. This is called samapatti, because this is the word we'll see being used in the next few verses. Samapatti means complete absorption. That is samapatti. So when the object of meditation is gross and the mind is absorbed in it, the mind takes the form of that gross object. And when the object of meditation is subtle, the mind becomes subtle. When the absorption is induced by meditating on a person who is liberated, which is called a Mukta Purush, the mind takes the form of a liberated person. And we learned that also in the last class. That if your mind is disturbed, connected with the mind of a person who is always calm, you will feel the effect right away. When meditation on a mantra, he says, the personified form of the deity, we learned that also. Vishokaha, Jyotishmati, that Jyoti, that light, we feel. We feel we are absorbed, fully absorbed in that light. So in other words, the mind becomes settled in whatever is placed next to it and is transformed into it. So that's why you can see so important. Not just only during meditation. Outside of meditation also we got to see what is our mind doing? What are we placing in front of the mind? Are we just leaving the TV on or the radio on? Or going to the places where we have countless impressions which we'll have to wash away later on? One very popular thing these days I hear from people that we want to make memories, create memories, travel, go places, create memories. But from these scriptures, what do we learn? If we are a yoga bhyashi, we are here to erase the old memories, not to create new memories. We have been creating memories from countless lifetimes. When this becomes clear to us, only then our journey has started. So this mind is very powerful. And the effort we put into focusing the mind on the object is meditation. The practice of meditation restores the mind's pristine nature. Only a pristine mind makes us master of ourselves. And the secret of mastering the mind lies in meditating on some illuminating object, divine object. That's why often we keep some light, some form in our altars also. Something shining. And how different objects of meditation lead to different kinds of absorption. That absorption is samapatti. How one stage of absorption matures into the next stage, and how object-centered meditation ultimately leads us to the highest state of samadhi. That is the subject of the following verses. So that means there is a different layers of samadhi. If we have already practiced it, could be in this lifetime or previous lifetimes. Some people jump up right away. But if we have never practiced, we think we are still learning, then very important to understand the Savitarka. nirvitark, savichar, nirvichar, all kinds of samadhis. He's going to explain it to us in this section, starting with verse number 42. But in order to reach here, he has been saying it again and again. Make the mind clean. Make the mind which can concentrate. Keep the goal of life in your mind. But the ultimate goal is, or the purpose is, even something important we do in this world, we need some concentration. Over here, we are trying to achieve the highest goal of life. How much more important is this process? So we got to keep that in mind. Okay, so next week we'll start with verse number 42 and the different kinds of samapatti, absorption. So samapatti is complete absorption. Remember that. Okay, because we learned samadhi. Samapatti and samadhi actually same thing, different terms. But in this section, he is using the term samapatti. Okay, so let's stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om.